Today, we are going to specifically talk about summer upcoming. And we all know that summer is a very, very important season for our student. And in the past, for students at Kyros, we've planned some pretty amazing summer internships for them to deepen their impact and learn about college. But this year, we thought we're going to do industry immersion programs. And particularly today, we are going to cover 4 summer programs. Number 1, everybody knows generative AI is super popular, so we are going to ask our students to be the co-creator of generative AI agents. And number 2, our Wall Street investment has been super popular for the last few years, so we're gonna continue to offer the Wall Street investment. And we added commercial video production. Many of our students are becoming very good with YouTube or TikTok. So we thought we'll offer commercial video productions for our middle schoolers and high schoolers as a way to express who they are. And last but not the least, many of you have already heard from Professor Sam on bio research. And this summer, Professor Sam is offering an on-site residential program for our students. So super excited. But before we get started, I wanted to take a moment and congratulate our 2024 graduates. So we are getting a lot of admission results coming in, and this is maybe half of our students reported. And as you can see, many of the students got into their dream college, and doesn't necessarily mean it has to be Ivy League, but it does mean it is a college that you deem as worthy spending 4 years of your life and almost $250,000 and develop a meaningful career prospect. So particularly, I wanted to highlight out of the 50% of our graduate students, we got 28 Ivy League offers, and UC, as many of you know, UC is getting super competitive. The top 6 campuses, including Berkeley, UCLA, San Diego, etc., our Class 2024 got over 60 offers. And if you look at across the board between research universities and top liberal arts, we have over 250 students actually entered the top 50 and top 10 liberal arts and research universities. So super excited for them. And a big congratulations to the families that worked very hard with our students. Particularly to today's topic, we wanted to talk about summer and how Kairos previous students have leveraged the summer as an important semester and get ahead and develop something very interesting. So show their uniqueness. So I'm going to play maybe quickly 2 videos. One is from Matthew, who joined our previous Wall Street investment, and one I'm going to play Katie and how she was able to leverage the summer, and now she's into a really amazing school with large amount of scholarships. So just give a minute.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm a grade 10 student from Vancouver, Canada. During the past summer, I took the Kyros summer internship choosing the Wall Street investment project. At the beginning of summer, I knew almost nothing about finance, but I decided to join the program to challenge myself and to try to understand the world through a different lens. And wow, the internship instructors really gave us a support system. They connected with and gained a unique understanding of each individual intern to help them grow. As well, the instructors brought us insightful lectures introducing a plethora of topics for us ourselves to continue deeply researching. They provided us with lots and lots of great online resources, high-level guest speakers, and office hours to further gain an exposure to complicated concepts at such a young age. But besides the internship instructors, working alongside other talented interns evoked a greater sense of freedom and motivation among unique, competent people, which drove greater risk-taking and exploration to create something new. We even forged connection networks for potential future projects. All of this is something I can never get out of a school course. And so I would recommend the Kyros summer internship to anyone, whether it is they want to deepen their learning in a target subject, or to try something new, or to meet new people and have some fun. You will enjoy it.
All right, that's Matthew for you. And let's also take a look what Katie has to say about leveraging her summer. And now she got into the top
Hello,
5
everyone.
computer
My name is Katie. I am a senior at a high school in Virginia. With aspirations to major in computer science in college, I embarked on a fascinating research journey through the Kyros AI Sprint program that delved into the intersection of artificial intelligence, neuroscience, and mental therapy. During the research program, I had the incredible opportunity to work with a PhD mentor from the University of Chicago on a research project that sought to unravel the complexities of neural networks and fMRI pattern recognition. My paper, titled Exploring Neural Network Architectures for fMRI Pattern Recognition Using Modern Machine Learning and Deep Learning Techniques, was published by the National High School Journal of Science. I explored how such research could potentially revolutionize mental therapy. Reflecting on my experience, I've learned a key lesson that I'd like to share with aspiring researchers. Staying on track and adhering to a schedule is very important. It's easy to fall behind without disciplined time management. With the assistance of the incredible Kyros College Sprint and research programs, I was able to be accepted into several top schools. I was accepted as a computer science major in the Carnegie Mellon School for Computer Science, Georgia Tech, University of Maryland with a President's Scholarship and the Honors Gemstone Program, University of Virginia, UNC Chapel Hill with Honors Carolina and the Accelerated Research Program, and more. Thank you to my parents and the Kyros College Preparation Program.
Thank you very much for watching. As mentioned, summer is a great semester for our students to differentiate themselves and really tell the story who they are. So with that, I wanted to continue to share. Many of our students felt during summer they were able to get a great exposure to college and professional life. They also fostered friendship and connections during the summertime with either students or professors, and truly felt they were able to advance their personal development, especially in the group setting, communications, organizations, and leadership skills. Now, of course, that is to prepare for college applications, truly stand out and make an impact. So with that, I would love to introduce today's speaker. Many of you have already met David. David is a pre-collegiate instructor at Stanford. He completed his PhD in computer science from Stanford and has founded a series of companies, including gaming companies and software companies got acquired by 3Com, Disney, etc. So he will be teaching the generative AI agents summer program with our students. We also have Justin. Justin himself, full-time, is a hedge fund strategist, and he's already taught our students in the last couple of years during summer how Wall Street investment is all about. What are the roles? What are the responsibilities? What are the latest technology tools that you should be aware of? And Justin received his bachelor's degree from Rice University. We also have Rich. Rich is actually Kyros marketing director, and he started his career 20 plus years ago from video production all the way to marketing. And he's got branded content featured at Netflix, Amazon Prime, all the names that you know of. And he is going to help our students get deep into commercial production of videos. Of course, you have Sam. Sam has been with us for since last year, helping students really dive deeper into bio research. And this summer, he's bringing this on-site residential program, working with our students in the state-of-art labs and get deep into neuron science, STEM research, etc. And Sam is a tenured professor at Harvard for the last 35 years. He also received his PhD and postdoc from MIT. So without any further ado, we will welcome our first speaker, David. David, take it away.
Thank you, Rebecca, and good afternoon. I assume most of them afternoon. I'm in China, so it's in the morning. So here I would like to just kind of give you a quick overview what this summer research program is. And I assume all of you have heard of GPT, and many of you have used GPT. So, and you're probably amazed by what you can do with GPT if you experiment with it. Its power, some people even believe that GPT is the ultimate intelligence now. So it's what called artificial general intelligence. So some people claim that it's actually sentient. But unfortunately or fortunately, depends how you look at it. It's a language model, right? So all it does, even though it's very smart because it got trained on a lot of data and it's a huge neural network, it's basically trying to make a story one word at a time. So it's kind of predicting what's the most probable next word, and it relies on patterns, recognizing patterns. And although people have found many useful things, I'm currently teaching a master class about prompt engineering. So people have found many applications of using ChatGPT through prompt engineering. And the application is diverse and the result is quite amazing. But as a language model, it's lacking in a number of ways. Number one, if you have tried prompt engineering, you know that it's a time-consuming process. So it requires you interact step by step, or you instruct step by step to do it. So it's not something that you can say, it's autonomous, right? So second, the language model, you just can imagine it's a brain, right? So it's brain. It's lacking the ability to interact in real time with the outside world. Getting real-time information, while getting real-time data, you can imagine sensing the environment. So it's lacking the ability to get input and then output, right? So what do you call the sensing and actuating? So that's one of the main limitations if you want to have the AI become more useful. And it's lacking this ability to plan. So I talked about in the last workshop about the two types of intelligence, right? The neural network and the symbolic. The symbolic AI really emulate humans' ability to plan with a foresight of achieving a goal. So at this, with the LLM, it doesn't really do that. There's no planning ability. And also, you probably all heard of this word called self-hallucination. So think of a GPT, a language model. It's a storyteller. It's trying to tell amazing stories, very believable, but it's actually not seeking the truth. So, there's many experiments, and I encourage you to do the same. You realize that it can make up story that sounds very plausible, but it's not true. So now the question is, given such a powerful model, how can we make more use of it? So here's where the AI agent comes in. As you probably heard of that AI agent, this is the kind of the hottest topic for the last year. AI agent is really about completing, leveraging the brain and make it complete. Just kind of adding. So what do you need to add, right? You need to add the ability to do I/O, right? Sense the environment, get real-time data from the environment, and then be able to affect the environment, right? So there's this good example, I saw before where, based on your preference, and you can find information about the pizza restaurant around you, and you can, in fact, make a call and order pizza for you. So the type of additional things you need to build around the brain is the input and output, right? And also, you want to have ability for the brain to be able to use to do planning, right? To plan, and then be able to basically integrate the LLM, which is the neural network approach, with this traditional symbolic AI. So with this, then now you can have an agent that actually can take a high-level command or high-level request and be able to give you the output autonomously. So it's just kind of you send the agent to work. And in fact, you can imagine that you can have multiple agents working for you at the same time, right? So And as I mentioned early on, right? So agent, it just started out not long ago. It just obviously started out, well, AI agent, the concept started a long time ago. AI agent, the concept was actually started many years ago in the 60s around robotics. So imagine, the time you want to make a smart robot. So the robot has the ability to sense environment, has the ability to act to the environment, and then obviously plan to achieve a goal. So that's actually where the agent's concept initially came from. But in terms of the agent in the LLM context, is quite recent. But you can see from the graph below, it's one of the hottest research topics now, and also it's really driving the much broader adoption of AI technology into, enable it to be used more broadly, right, for the different application. So if you think, right, so 30 years ago, many students or many companies are making websites, right? That's the internet. The internet really opens up the computer. Everybody can use it. Everybody can talk to everybody. So I would say if you're a student, you will make website. That's, in fact, I know many students are making website 20 years ago. And now if you look at the last 15 years, well, a lot of students making apps, right? On their phone. Different applications on the phone. And I believe, from now until the next 15 years, making AI agent is really the next big thing. In fact, AI agent can integrate with the website, right? So many of the custom support agents are chatbots that use LLM. And you can actually, in fact, imagine that agent can be integrated with your standard, app. But what I want to bring out is that AI agent is the next big thing. And also with the LLM model, it really lowered the barrier, right? So now you can actually, prompt engineering to actually ask a computer to write code for you. It really lowered the barrier for using AI for many applications. Long time ago, only large company like Google, Facebook, and Amazon can hire hundreds and thousands of people doing research and development to use AI. But with the LM technology, the large language model, and wrap around with the AI agent, it really enable much, what we call the long tails of the AI, which is have hundreds of thousands of various applications, including your own personal application, right? So you want to find a build agent to, I don't know, look for summer internship for you. So it really enables a much broader application of AI. So the way that, so it's a 4-week program, quite intensive. And that's why, most likely, it's summertime that you can do this. And the way it's structured, into the 4 weeks is that the first week we'll take a deep dive, so that into LLM, so you actually understand what a language model is, right? So because in order to work with the LLM, you need to really understand what it is and what is ability, and more importantly, what is the limitation. So that's really the core of the first week. And the second week, we'll look at, the difference and explore the difference between the neural network connectionless approach to AI and the symbolic approach. The reason why we want to explore that is, in fact, agents are is attempt to merge that, right? To incorporate the symbolic reasoning capability with the neural network kind of pattern recognition capability. So that's the focus of the second week. In order to proceed to the next phase, right, the fourth week, we need the foundation. So the objective for the first 2 weeks is to gain the foundational understanding that allow us to now, put into practice in the second part, the third and the 4 weeks. So then the third week, we start being more practical, right? So the idea is that we want to use, and we'll use the GPT as a large language model. How can we use GPT? How can we program it rather than just prompting it, right? How do we use a function call in the new GPT? How do we use, so that you can actually, create autonomous agents? So a lot of more the practical aspect of programming and interacting with the GPT. And then the last week is where we, now with the foundational understanding, with the skill we gain from, learning how to program the GPT, is to create an agent. So basically, what you see in the picture early on, how do we have the agent be able to interact with the outside, right? Whether you want to look for something on the line, or and then obviously you can do the planning if it's a if what you want to do is actually do the looking for a plan for executing something, and then be able to have the output. So the final week is really focused on the project. So if you look at the two-part, the first 2 weeks is more theoretical or theory-based, looking at foundation. The second part is really on the actual making agent. And there's a deliverable for both parts, right? So I'll go into that next page. So the key objective, right, for this summer program is, many of you heard of ChatGPT and other large language model. And unfortunately, at the high school level, I don't know how many of you actually get exposed to it beyond just using ChatGPT, just do a prompting. So the objective for this class is that, as science in your future study at college or work, then you should really have some fundamental understanding of that. While you're in high school, the same thing that you learn math when you're at first grade or even before, right? So that's part of it. It really, understanding something is so important at the fundamental level. And second is really having exposure to how do we actually practically using or creating something that will be significant, whether it's for your study at college or for the future. Obviously, many of you are looking at application for college. And being able to just 10 years ago, many people making APPs, and 20 years ago making website. I think having an experience that you can create an agent or multiple agents that can perform something that of your whether it's something you're interested in solving or for your personal use, would be something quite new and quite unique. And the deliverable is a two-part. For the first part related to the theoretical part, there'll be a research paper. So many students ask me, say, how do you do research? Well, doing research is really about, exploration and discovery. So, there's a lot of focus on in the first 2 weeks. Obviously, I'll teach you how, the foundational theory, but then I also would work a lot on interactively on how do you actually discover more, how do you explore. So the deliverable for the first 2 weeks is a research paper. Obviously, it's not a PhD thesis, but a short research paper. And the second part, deliverable, capstone project, actually creating an agent, from scratch. So obviously, I want to be practical, right? It's only 4 weeks. And a lot of content. So, the agent that, you see here is relatively simple, but, quite interesting, I hope. And this is not the list of agents you have to create. I'm just giving you some example. So you can imagine that you can actually create a playlist agent that, based on, you can enter the mood that you have, or you can actually check the weather and be able to customize a playlist for the day, or just customize a playlist for you. So that'll be an interesting agent. Agent, obviously, you can also find agent that many of you are looking for internship, right? Now, as you know, large language model are pre-trained to a certain date. So obviously it doesn't give you real-time information. So you can't be able to access the website, get real-time information. And based on your interests and your background, can kind of recommend looking for opportunity. And the third one is quite generic, right? So you can, create an agent that can help you with a certain topic, right? Help you or help your sibling or somebody, your classmate on a certain topic, study at school. And there's not a lot of prerequisite. You don't really have to, obviously, how to program, that'd be great. But it's really, I'm looking for students who are, obviously, you have genuine interest in AIs, right? So, you might be interested in biologies and investment. There's great obviously great project for the summer for that. But if so I'm looking for people really interested in AI or fascinated by it. And also your ability to kind of like free form learning, in the sense that you can, you like to explore, you like to try things, and then you're good at, or you learn, you're interested in learning how to discover things. And then, obviously, enjoy hands-on experience, because you end up doing a lot of the projects are hands-on. If you have background in computer science, you're taking other coding classes, or you have taken some AI classes, you have done some robotics stuff, all those are, obviously useful experience, for the class. So that's it. And Justin, take it over.
Sure. Thank you, David. I actually took a couple of neural network classes back in when I was studying electrical engineering at Rice. So this is sort of giving me flashbacks. Very interesting stuff. But so evening, everyone, parents, students, and of course, Cindy and Rebecca. I'm Justin, and I will be your program lead for the Wall Street Immersion. A quick introduction: I've built algorithmic strategies for stock market portfolios, particularly in biotech and healthcare. Lately, have been working as the head of data and AI and ML strategy in a healthcare finance company. I graduated, I studied electrical engineering and economics at Rice, which gave me valuable analytical and market skills to apply. And together, we'll all be guiding you through real investing scenarios and projects to prepare you for internship and college opportunities. If you could move to the next slide, please. So, to start off, we want to give you a sense for how finance plays a role in value creation. And what that means is that we want to help you, as students, develop the ability to see investing opportunities all around you, depending on the personal interests that you end up wanting to explore. And so what that means is that we start by asking questions like, what is the global economy? How does an avocado get grown in Mexico, harvested, shipped to your local supermarket, and end up in your kitchen without going bad? And what does finance have to do with coordinating all of this activity across the world and making it possible, cheaper, and safer to do these things? So we want to think in terms of real economic problems that people in society need solving for. And from that, you learn to see the value in how businesses try to solve these problems, and then you learn to identify the best businesses and the best ideas to invest in. And while we give you the tools to understand the basic language of finance and build on your own ideas, we'll walk you through different roles, projects, and ways of understanding investing opportunities, which you'll see on the next slide. So we'll guide you on, these various skill sets for applying yourselves to these roles and how they can enrich who you are as a person, your ability to present yourself, and how to translate that into your personal education and your future experiences. For this immersion experience, during each session, we'll have exercises in how to think and assess companies from the viewpoint of one of three roles: banking analysts, private equity analysts, and venture analysts. And we'll also bring with you case studies on understanding markets and particularly analyzing different across different axes of each of example companies that we'll have to bear. Some of these axes include value versus growth investing, a classic conundrum in investing, how different strategies might work across different investing regimes, how to tell when different investing eras might shift and to accommodate for that. So some of those classical, investing methodologies. We will cover operational metrics, which will give you a brief overview of how businesses are performing, how to interpret, within the context of a particular industry or, a particular point in time of history, when a company has been doing well or not, and what it might take for you, particularly if you're interested in private equity, in acquiring and revamping businesses over time and improving them for market value, how you might better run companies. And of course, it always helps to, and when talking about all these theoretical frameworks, it always helps to have examples to really work through and nail into. And that's where we'll have case studies. We'll walk you through case studies of analysis for companies such as Schlumberger in gas and oil, Tesla in the present, past, and future of the automobile industry, And of course, if you have been following the markets lately, the big success story of particularly of the past year, whose stock price has exploded, since Jensen Huang, really started investing in the AI industry, NVIDIA and the microchip that back AI computing. And from time to time, we will also be organizing fireside chats with folks in the industry, friends that I might, be able to bring in, availability to speak with you all and to speak with me. And the overall organization of these sessions will divide into equal parts when we have of exercises, case studies, and these fireside chats when we can have them. So hopefully this will be a very, very productive and supportive atmosphere for you all to understand and expand your view of the global economy. I think, sorry, this is a bit of an older version of the, yeah. But yeah, so, and of course, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so, and by the way, that chart on the right is a chart of interest rates across, across sort of across time and space, as mapped out by the central banks, the Central Bank of England. In a way, this is a summation and an illustration of the history of the global economy, and of course of value creation and value decline in the world. So something very interesting to like sort of sit and think about 800 years of economic history. So the way we are working to frame this immersion experience is from the very onset, we are going to be working to organize you within small groups so that you can familiarize yourselves with your student peers and engage with exercises to really situate yourself with the frameworks that we'll be exploring together. Over time, I will be working, my team and I, our TAs and I, will be working one-on-one with you to find your individualized investment theses, and how you can work together within your small groups to explore, reinforce each other, and explore the boundaries of your interests. And hopefully, as we go through this experience, these weeks together, you'll gain the confidence to continue doing your own research. That's one of the main aims of this experience, that we provide you tools, frameworks, background knowledge with which you are comfortable bringing back to your high school and your college experiences, and making yourselves presentable candidates for whatever it is you want to do. The deliverables for this experience will be 3 managed assignments, an industry profile, an investment analysis of a company, and a venture startup pitch. And we'll spend 1 week on each of those. And then, of course, as a group, you'll be working on a capstone together, furthering an investment thesis that of your own particular interest. Next slide. And so this will be a 6-week experience. The first 4 weeks or so will dedicate themselves to, well, first of all, to background knowledge on finance and the economy, the broad exposure to, to looking at the world. Then we, and also basic research methods. Then we will spend a week each on each of the finance rules of interest, classical fundamental analysis, private equity, and running a business, and of course venture investing, and what a future of an industry might look like. We'll dedicate the last 2 weeks to project work, to group work, and you know, I and my team will be working to guide you through through our presentations on the analyses that you will be conducting on your own. Next slide. And then what we can expect here in terms of requirements is it would help very much if you did have some background knowledge in thinking about how the world works. Innate curiosity, ability to investigate, to form questions, investigate problems, think about how problems are solved, and develop frameworks and solutions to solving them. If you have this sort of analytical ability, a history of demonstrating this ability, then that is, you know, what is most required for this program. That can be both in STEM, and it can also be in you know, humanities. It can be in, you know, how you formulate and tell stories and work to write out solutions to problems that you've been interested in before. The fundamental requirement here is really that you have been persistent in asking questions and developing analytical insights into the problems that into problems of interest. If you do have formal exposure to classwork, to macroeconomics, microeconomics, to STEM subjects, to business experiences, club experiences, that's also, you know, very much welcome. It is a demonstration that you have been, you know, thinking about your own genuine interests, and will help you very much in terms of this summer. So, and that's all I have for the Wall Street Immersion program. Passing it on to Rich.
All right. As Rebecca said, I am the marketing director at Kyros. I am freshly a member of Kyros, started 2 weeks ago. So this is a great opportunity. I'm super excited to share some of my experiences and tie it into what I'm doing at Kyros, and you know, having a class of students that I can bring along on this journey. So as you can see, I've had experience with a lot of different partners that I've had the relationships, the experience building relationships with, whether they're streaming partners or content partners. I worked for many years with a company called The Great Courses, who had the opportunity to work with content partners like the History Channel, Smithsonian, Culinary Institute of America. And during those partnerships, I was responsible for creating the promotional materials, the commercials that help sell those products, as well as more B2B for creating commercials that help sell the Great Courses brand to companies like Audible and to Netflix and Verizon Fios. We had quite a few shows that streamed on those platforms, and it was a great experience being able to be part of the team that sold our brand to those streaming partners. So we can move on to the next slide. So my summer course will be about commercial video production, not just what it is, but also how companies track the success of it, how they develop the messaging that's included in it, how the actual creative is produced. So what is commercial video production on a very high level? It's the process of crafting videos that promote products, services, or brand values in order to help companies grow. If you are responsible for producing commercial video products, whether you are in the pre-production stage, which I'll show here in a moment, all the way to the end, the post-production stage, or even the analytics tracking stage, you are working towards a common goal of helping your company be successful. So these commercial video products, they're audience centric, right? They're tailored to connect with a very specific group who has very specific interests. They have to be engaging. If they're not your audience won't listen. So they have to use compelling narratives and visuals to capture attention and to deliver the information that you want to deliver in order to be successful in your messaging. They have to be strategic. So you can't just, put commercials on channels where your target audience might not be. You can't include messaging in your commercials that your target audience might not engage with. So they have to go on shared platforms where target audiences also engage. They have to be results focused. If anybody follows any kind of advertising news, which I know is a niche, not all of us follow, some of the best and funniest commercials in the world don't show results for companies. And a lot of times you see those advertising firms get fired or the marketing directors, get in trouble for producing content that doesn't show results. So commercial videos have to be content that is produced in order to provide a return on investment for the company. At the bottom of the slide here, I put a couple behind the scenes shots of some shoots that I've been on, including the very right hand slide there. I was actually a host for quite a while on a few shows for a company called Wondrium, where I got to interview some of the smartest people in the world that made me feel very mentally inferior. But that was one of the neatest shows I ever got to host. We can move on to the next slide. So the curriculum and schedule of this course is, to be honest, I'm still molding it. I want this course to be very hands-on in that the students are constantly producing content and then editing that content based on feedback and coming back with new content. But right now, the way that the curriculum looks is that I'm leading students through the process of production from just the fundamentals all the way to tracking the results. So in class 1, for instance, we're going to discuss the types, categories, and styles of commercial videos and their marketing impact. You can say I produce commercials, and that could mean a million different things to a million different people. In the second class, we're going to talk about pre-production. So that's storyboarding, scripting, budgeting. There's a lot of elements that have to be considered before you even start producing commercial video. The second week, and by the way, you might have noticed that this is also a 4-week course as well. So going back to class 3, we're going to talk about how to identify and engage with audience segments. That's a very important thing to understand if you're creating commercials. You might think you have the funniest or most hard-hitting idea in the world, but if it's not targeting the people that you believe will buy your product, then you're wasting your resources. In the 4th class, we're going to talk about the different platforms that exist that your content will go on. It's not like, let's say 20 years ago, when if you're creating commercial content, it's going on TV, period. It doesn't work like that anymore. And we all have seen advertisements on every social media platform that we've been on. You've skipped them for the most part, but this is about creating the ones that you don't skip. The 3rd week, we're going to talk about how to develop scripts that resonate with your audience. We're also going to talk about the production process. So let's say in the 1st week and 2nd week, we've covered the pre-production essentials. We're going to start talking about the skills in actually being on set. So let's talk about cameras. Let's talk about lights. What does the director do? What do all the people on a shooting set actually do? There's a lot of roles that you don't consider when you're actually watching a commercial. A lot of jobs and careers are built around being on set in a role that you might not know about. So I'm going to teach all about those as well. We're going to move into week 4. And again, I'm not necessarily capturing the deliverables here, but we are telling a story from A to B. In week 4, we're talking about post-production. So those are the steps when you're editing the footage you've recorded. You're fixing the color in the footage. You're in sound design, all very important stuff that is no less important than the first steps. And finally, in class 8, we're going to talk about how companies and advertising agencies track the success of all that work. We're going to talk about seeing the return on the investment that was put into creating these commercials. Sometimes that's an obvious answer. Sometimes you get to see sales come in directly from your commercials. Other times it's a bit squishier, where maybe your advertising was created for brand awareness. How do you track the amount of people who are now aware of your brand? That's a lot harder, and I'll talk about that as well. We can move on to the next slide. So a lot of the objectives I've covered, but I really want to see students gain a comprehensive skill set here. So it's not about writing scripts, and it's not about shooting the videos, and it's not about editing. It's about all those things. So I want students to gain an end-to-end knowledge of video production. It's about understanding audience engagement. So again, I could teach a course on video editing and video production, but this is about commercial video production. So I want to make sure to teach students about how to identify audience segments, how you do that, and also what that means, where to find that information, and how to make sure you're targeting the best audience for your company. I do want to teach about creative storytelling. What is a creative story, and what is a story, period? It sounds like those are very obvious definitions, but when it comes to capturing an audience to help build your company, it's a little bit different than just writing a novel. And then technical proficiency. This can be handled by many different roles, in the production process, but I want students to have an understanding of what the hands-on experience means if you are in production or post-production. So below, I just, I put a bunch of logos of all the different platforms that are online that I am going to have students produce content for. It doesn't mean that this content is going to necessarily be posted, but it's going to set up this class to really understand what it means to be a successful content producer for a commercial industry on these platforms that are continuing to grow. So we can move on to the next slide. So this program is for anyone who's interested in exactly what I've been talking about, learning the ins and outs of commercial video production. Again, this is not film making, where a lot of these, the bits and pieces that I'll be teaching are the same aspects that you learn if you're making film for film's sake. But a lot of the focus for these videos will have a different audience. It's about this program is for anyone interested in enhancing their digital marketing skills. That's a big one. It has to be about digital marketing skills for this class. This is for anyone who's exploring the thought of maybe going into a career in media, a career in advertising or marketing, developing hands-on experience with industry standard video production tools, crafting stories and messages for diverse audiences, and anyone who's interested in building a portfolio of work to show their own video production capabilities. So let's see if I believe there's one more slide, Rebecca, or that might be it for me. Okay, so some of the requirements. Outside of the cost of this particular class, we are asking that students have a 2-month subscription to Canva Pro. Canva Pro is sort of an all-in-one platform. We are not affiliated with them. They have a great video editing tool and access to a lot of stock video that can be implemented into projects. So instead of asking students to sign up for hundreds of dollars worth of subscriptions to the industry standards for editing, Canva Pro, we found is a great starting point for helping students understand the process. Anybody who's got the ability to film with a smartphone, that is going to be important because some of the projects will require students to shoot footage. Basic understanding of social media. I would like our students to at least understand the interaction on social media. The ability to participate in class assignments. So for instance, if I say in the next class, I would like you to bring X, Y, and Z as an example of script writing, it's my hope that the student would participate and bring that to the next class. And my final requirement is that students must be able to be on camera during these sessions. Without the ability to engage with students and speak to them on camera, it's going to hinder the amount we're able to produce and actually engage with each other. So a very simple list of requirements, and I would love to see your students in this class. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to produce a lot of great stuff together. And that's it for me. So, Dr. Sam, you are up.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Dr. Sam Coons. I'm from Harvard University. So I want to tell you today about a summer research program called the BioResearch Academy. It's held in Boston and Cambridge, where we have research labs, and it runs from June 25th to July 12th. It's an in-residence program, so we take care of all of your needs, all of your students' needs, and so they have dormitories to live in, and food, and a great social list of social activities. But of course, most important to us is our research endeavor. And let me explain what our vision is of this program. So thinking about the education of high school students is important to me because they arrive at college, and that's where I teach them. And the more I see that high school learning is somewhat stereotyped, and I feel often students are held back, I think that's not really consistent with what students actually need to do today, because science is moving forward so quickly that I think it's important to really have the high school students advance as well in the forward direction. And I don't think it's too hard. I think it's, as my slide says, possible to learn how to do research today and to think like a scientist. And that what I see, in fact, in college is that students who come very well prepared, when they get to college, they can simply get ahead and take advanced courses. And of course, that's taking advantages of the resources that are available in college, because there are advanced courses if you're able to take advantage of them. Also, I think a lot of the reason to study science comes from understanding that research is fun, that it's full of discovery. And when you understand why you're doing, say, taking classes in chemistry or computer science, all the other fields that are sort of auxiliary to and supportive of, say, biological research, it becomes a lot easier and more motivating to say, I have my own data and I need to do analysis on my data. That's why I need to learn all of these things like statistics. So when you come to Cambridge and Boston and come to the labs, we're going to teach you a lot of the high-tech tools that people use in research nowadays, not something that was used 20 years ago. So these are things like what are called massively parallel DNA sequencing, confocal and super resolution fluorescence microscopy. I think a lot of you probably have heard of genome editing with CRISPR. All of these things we do in the labs. In the summer program, we are going to do these things, and we're going to generate data on real research projects. Next slide. Oh yeah, let's move on to the next slide. So for example, The students will get to see and use these advanced microscopes, some of which cost over $1 million, so usually not available in high schools. And they can generate beautiful and also very informative fluorescence micrographs of cells and the subcellular structures inside of cells. Next. Let me give you a sense of the kind of research project. So this is from a research project that was done a few years ago. A couple of students in our program, Jeffrey, who went on to Columbia, and Siraj, who went on to Duke. And their project was to identify genes that are involved in causing Alzheimer's disease. And actually, you may have heard recently that there's been advances in terms of producing Alzheimer's disease drugs. But these are drugs that are primarily aimed at the some of the symptoms, in a sense, of the buildup of certain proteins in the brain of people with Alzheimer's disease. But actually, we really don't know the cause of Alzheimer's disease. And so a lot of research now that might produce better medicines involves trying to find out what the cause is, which may be something that happens 15 or 20 years before a person actually has the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. So what was their project? Well, they used the method of high throughput RNA sequencing, shown on the next slide. So like in this method, what they do is compare the expression of genes in the brains of normal and abnormal, that is Alzheimer's disease patients, and isolate the RNA and determine the sequence of all of the RNAs that are expressed in the brain and compare those two data sets. And when you do that comparison, you can find genes that are decreased in expression or increased in expression. And actually, that's what they did. Then they took the data home with them after the program. They did computational analysis. They produced a list of genes that were regulated differently in the development of Alzheimer's disease. And actually, we still work on these genes. We're still studying these genes today, and we're finding out new things from the data produced from our high school students. So next slide. So this takes place on a campus. We have new research labs. You can see on the right side, if you hit the slide button, yes. New research labs. These are research labs in Boston. We also have research labs in Cambridge that we use. This is all in Boston. It's very, very, very close to the Harvard Medical School. And in Cambridge, it's actually on the Harvard campus. Next. So what are our objectives? Well, of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, we want high school students to develop research skills, and that involves some knowledge of and ability to think about experiments using advanced equipment and technologies that even a lot of college undergraduates don't really access. I think if high school students learn how to use these things, and when they get to college, they can immediately join laboratories if they're interested in the research, and they can, of course, excel. And that's the goal. Secondly, it's really important, I think, for students to work on real scientific research projects. So our research projects actually are brought to the program by scientists at the PhD or graduate student level, and they come to work with the students, and they bring their projects with them, which means, these are projects where nobody has the answers. You make discoveries, and of course, that's always what makes science exciting. And also, the aim is to pack in a lot of experiments, to collect large data sets, and then to take them home for follow-up studies, which then students can use in competitions or publications or in their college applications. Next slide. So, to summarize all of this, I would say, the students leave the program understanding advanced technology that we actually use in research today. They see what real research projects are like, taken from labs at Harvard and MIT. And of course, this prepares students for the next steps, and they might want to go on in competitions. Maybe many of them already are in competitions like the biology Olympiads, or they go to the MIT Think Scholars program, compete in the Regeneron ISEF. And this will then, lead them to stand out in university research, application for internships, and get into very competitive research programs in the future. And next slide. So that's all I have to say, is that, it's a fun program. We focus on social development and having fun along with doing exciting research.
Thank you so much, Sam, Rich, and Justin, David. I just wanted to quickly remind everyone, as you can see on the screen, this is the schedule and the time commitment for each individual programs. David, who is leading the Creative AI Agent program, the day starts on June the 24th, and then it goes to July the 26th, because we're gonna skip the Independence Day, that long weekend. So you will see here, and this is 15 hours commitment per week. Wall Street start the same time, and because it is 6 week long, so it ends on August 9th. It requires 10 hours work per week for our students. Commercial video production and ends at the same time for weeks, and it does require 10 hours per week. And for the on-site in Boston, bio research, the starting date is actually June the 25th, and it is ending on July the 12th. It's in Boston, so you can work with Professor Sam on the logistics. And as Sam mentioned, all your room, boarding, meals, maybe even sightseeing is all included, but it is pretty intense. It will be 60 hours per week, but you're gonna have a lot of fun. So that is the schedule and time commitment if you're interested. At this point, I would love for everyone to start typing your questions on the chat window. We're already receiving some questions. I will be routing to each program instructor here, but please do indicate who are you asking this question, which program it is your question for, okay? And in the next 5 minutes, I will be very quickly, as I wait for the questions, quickly go over how Kyros has been helping students getting through the college prep video process. All right, sorry, I'm reading the questions. So Kyros started in 2018. It is a one-stop college prep platform. You don't have to look anywhere else. Any of your counseling, advice, planning, and implementation in getting summer programs, or for that matter, anything you wanted to do to get through college application, essays, scholarships, the whole application process is already included on this platform. And this is founded by former Googlers, myself included, and working with these top educators as you meet today here, but we also have 1,500 educators on the platform. Many of them are from Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Rice Universities, Oxford, etc. We wanted to bring this with a very affordable cost, maybe 1/10, if not lower, of the traditional college counseling cost, but demonstrate 3 times improved admission results. As you saw at the very beginning, our 2024, 2023, 2022, our students' admission results are pretty phenomenal. And at this point, we've helped over 2,000 students with 1,500 educators, $90 million in scholarships received. So thanks to everyone's hard work. And it is truly a multi-tier support structure. Because of ex-Googlers, we, the AI and the big data is near and dear to our hearts. So we have already created a lot of recommendations. We built the world's largest database is here providing real-time recommendation based on your personal context, your strengths, your weakness, your personalities, your hopes and dreams. So everything is done in this sort of AI recommendation model. In addition, we do recognize our 7th, 8th grader all the way to 12th grader are teenagers. So we wanted to have real live sessions with top educators, walking through the journey with them step by step, 7 days a week. So here you will have Monday through Saturday, you will have your designated student success manager as your counselor, as your guidance, as your support. They will help you to plan and track. And then we also have Saturday, Sunday, 25 sprint programs. Each program is 5-week long. So together, there's over 100 workshops throughout the year and setting strong foundation for you to be college ready. And of course, like every Sunday, we will bring those insights and trends from top educators on Sunday webinar at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And the Future You is highly customized. It goes beyond 5 weeks, but it really helps you to build your personal branding and deepen your impact. So this is a vast educator network in addition to the technology. Like I said, your family doctor is going to be your student success manager overseeing everything. And then you work with every single experts in specific areas, such as former admissions officers, essay experts to help you with essays, AP tutors, self-explanatory, and the financial aids experts, etc. So I won't enlist all of the 1,500, but you can see some examples. Former admissions officer from MIT, Johns Hopkins, Harvard, Dartmouth, Yale. We also have a top expert helping students getting scholarships. We have Sunny coming to speak to our students next Sunday, and she is going to talk about executive functioning skills, time management, and building your personal qualities. Julie is an AP teacher for many years, 20 plus years from Stanford, helping students with APs. So what they do is they deliver sprint programs. Each sprint is 5-week long. Anything, everything you can think of, we already included. What you do inside the school, getting ready for SAT, AP exams, or what you do outside of the school, getting great summer programs, summer internships, or throughout the application process, getting scholarships. If you are waitlisted, what do? How do you negotiate tuition fee? So on and so forth. So these are some of the examples of our sprint programs, upcoming or ongoing ones. Seasonal plan, how do you plan for the summer? For the seniors, they are getting into negotiation. 2024 is the best year to negotiate your tuition fee, right? Or for the younger students to really master your emotional intelligence and building grit. Now, Future You Lab, today we are talking about summer internships, research programs, or if you wanted to launch your independent project, doing documentary film, getting really involved with your community and earning. You don't have to compete, but earning the Presidential Service Award, Congressional Award, all these are aimed to build your personal brand. Many of our students do take research publication to demonstrate their intellectual curiosity. Some of them participate in summer internship, like what we talk about, to be a real world problem solvers, right? Independent project, you demonstrate you taking initiatives or community leaders.